Yesterday was the type of day that I love in the world of basketball. You know, not too much drama, a decent amount of games, and some great overall play from a bunch of players and teams. Unfortunately though, with the good, there is always a bit of bad. So let's just get the bad out the way real quick so we can get into the good. Because like I said, there is a lot of good. So I'm gonna make this short and sweet for you, Mr. Dolan. You are unequivocally one of the most detestable human beings that I know of. For those of you that don't remember who Mr. Dolan is, it's okay. I don't blame you. He's the type of person you don't want to remember. Mr. Dolan is the owner of the New York Knicks, the man who had his posse, as his underling Phil Jackson would call it, eject Charles Oakely from the Knicks game a few nights ago. Now, in the aftermath of that incident, some more news has surfaced, including that Charles Oakely has been banned from the Madison Square Garden. You know, you can kind of see this coming, and I don't agree with it. I mean, I can see why they did it, or why they felt like they had to do it, but that's not what got to me. What really got to me was Dolan's remarks after the banning. Let me just read to you guys a couple of the things that he said. He said that I certainly think Charles Oakely should be embarrassed. He also said he may have a problem with alcohol, but my personal favorite, however, is this one. Should we be embarrassed? No. The staff at MSG were abused. Don't be embarrassed. Just refuse to be embarrassed. See, this is where you're wrong. First off, it was wrong of you to go to the media saying something like, he may have a problem with alcohol, when that was just a statement you pulled out of thin air to try and throw dirt on his name. Because you know the media will print that and the public will go, ah, so he's a drunk. That makes a lot of sense now. That's a great way for you to cover up yourself. Just throw someone else under the bus. You know, that's a real great quality you have there, Mr. Dolan. But I really love the fact that you said that you shouldn't be embarrassed. I mean that you just refuse to be embarrassed. Is that the motto of the New York Knicks now? The New York Knicks. Who cares how much of a joke of an organization we are, because we just refuse to be embarrassed. Well, you know, just because you refuse to be embarrassed doesn't mean you shouldn't be embarrassed. You should be beyond embarrassed. Every time you see Joakim Noah set foot on the hardwood, you should be embarrassed. Every time Phil Jackson takes shots at Carmelo Anthony, you should be embarrassed. When an ex-player cares more about the well-being of the franchise than you, the owner, do, you should be embarrassed. The fact that you're not embarrassed about the circus of an organization you own right now is an embarrassment in and of itself. I mean, you went on the radio yesterday and said this: I literally turned over the entire basketball operations over to Phil and Steve Mills, and that is where I'm at. Whether I like the results or don't like the results, I'm going to honor that agreement all the way to the end. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you are indeed the owner of the New York Knicks, correct? And the New York Knicks are indeed a basketball team, correct? So you are the owner of a basketball team, correct? And you said you turned over the entire basketball operation to Phil Jackson and Steve Mills. Now I get what you're saying. I mean, they handle everything like free agents, drafts, trades, stuff like that, and you're just on the business side. But once again, correct me if I'm wrong, James, the proverbial backbone of your business is the basketball team. Correct? You turn that over to a couple of guys that really haven't done anything close to a good job of managing that team. I mean, you're in the same place that you were when you signed them, if not even worse now, considering the fact that you will never get another free agent to play for you as long as you two are there. And yet you say that even if you don't like the results, you're going to honor your agreement to the end. You, sir, Mr. Dolan, are a fool. One of the biggest fools I have ever seen, in fact. And you don't care. See, that's your problem. Your pockets are being laced with money. So as long as the money is coming in your eyes, the team is winning. The team is on top. But you know, it's only a matter of time before Knicks fans, those are your customers by the way, and the product that you're selling them out there on the court every night sucks. It's just a matter of time before they decide that they've had enough. And when that happens, you will be embarrassed. The final news of the day is that Kevin Durant has apparently hired armed security, as well as had the Warriors security tripled for tonight's games in OKC against the Thunder. That being said, in all honesty, I wouldn't be surprised if something goes down in tonight's games. I mean, at the very least, I could see him being barraged in a hailstorm of popcorn. That's it for the news though. Now let's get into the games from last night. No ridiculous comeback or blowout win for the Grizzlies this time. And it was Draymond Green who stole the show with a whopping 4 points. It honestly doesn't get more impressive than that. I mean, to score 4 points, if he is not the player of the day, then I do not know who is. I might have forgot to mention though that he also had 10 assists, 12 rebounds, and 10 steals. Oh, and 5 blocks too. I'm just saying, literally he had more of everything than he did points. And this was the first non-scoring triple-double in NBA history that I know of. And it was also the first 10 steal game since Brandon Roy did it back in 2009. Huge props to Draymond Green. We all know that he's like the glue guy to this Warriors team. Klay Thompson also had 36 points, Kevin Durant had 24, and Andre Iguodala had 22 off the bench as the Warriors get the 122-107 win over Memphis. Anthony Davis vs. Karl Anthony Towns. This will be a great matchup every time these two meet, at least for the next decade. And it was a great matchup last night, but it was Anthony Davis who won the battle this time as he goes for 42 points and 13 rebounds. Just a little bit better than Karl Anthony Towns' 36 points and 8 rebounds. And it was the Pelicans who came out on top, 122-106. Point guard Jrue Holiday also had a solid game, and I think people are sleeping on him. Seems he's finally healthy. Fortunately, all of his family matters are behind him now, so he can just focus on basketball. And he's only 26, so it's not like he's a relic. He had 25 points, 12 assists, and 5 steals last night. I'm not even gonna say it. Every single time the Nuggets play, I say it. I'm just gonna say half of it. Nikola Jokic is blank. You guys know the rest. A career high 40 points last night, which is extremely impressive because he's more of a pass first big, even though he can score a bunch too. And I guess he felt like he had to prove that last night. Like I said, he scored 40 points as well as grabbed 9 rebounds and dished out 5 assists. And every other Nuggets starter scored in double figures as Denver downs New York 131-123. Carmelo Anthony did have 33 points for New York though. Make that 13 in a row now for the Heat as they beat the Nets 108-99. A really solid team effort and some great defense, and the fact they played against Brooklyn and got it done for Miami. Not taking anything away from the win, I'm just saying I'd really be surprised if Brooklyn ever wins another game this year. Why do I feel like they're gonna blow out my Pistons now because I said that? Anyways, James Johnson was the scorer of the night for Miami as he scores 26 off the bench. Goran Dragic also continues his impressive play with 21, and the Heat are now only 1 game out of the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference. I honestly feel bad for Bucks fans. Like seriously, they had just gotten Middleton back, and then you lose Jabari to an ACL tear. Giannis did his best in the absence of his partner in crime though, as he drops a career high 41 points to go along with 8 rebounds and 6 assists. But he just didn't get enough help to lift the Bucks over LA, as the Lakers get the win 122-114. 26 points for Swaggy P and 21 off the bench for Lou Williams. Two of the hottest teams in the Eastern Conference squared off last night. Really, the only loss they both suffered recently came to the Cleveland Cavaliers. But of course, one of them will wind up taking another L today, and that team would be none other than the Indiana Pacers as the Washington Wizards get the 112-107 win. 26 points and 14 assists for John Wall, 26 points for Markieff, and 20 for Beal, and Paul George had 31 for Indy. Kawhi Leonard with another great game as he leads the Spurs past the Detroit Pistons 103-92. Kawhi Leonard with 32 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists on the night, and LaMarcus Aldridge also had 19 points and 11 rebounds. I'm just saying though, Pistons still look better with Ish Smith on the court and Reggie Jackson on the bench. Dwayne Wade and Jimmy Butler both returned for Chicago last night after both missing the previous game against the Warriors. However, the outcome of the game remained the same as the Chicago Bulls fall to the Phoenix Suns 115-97. Phoenix, of course, was led by none other than the backcourt of Bledsoe and Booker as they combined for 50 points, 27 points for D-Book, and 23 points and 8 assists for one of the most underrated point guards in the league, Eric Bledsoe. Another comeback win for the Kings last night over the Hawks, as they outscored the Hawks by 17 in the second half to come up with a 108-107 win. Darren Collinson made a layup with around 3 seconds to go in the game and gave the Kings the lead and the win like I said. He finished with 22 points and 9 rebounds, and DeMarcus Cousins also had 22 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists. Tim Hardaway Jr. scored 28 points for Atlanta and Paul Millsap had 25. And that about wraps up all the action for the Day 109 recap of the 2016-2017 NBA season. And now it's time to get into the player of the day. yesterday you guys selected Russell Westbrook in his triple-double of 29 points, 12 rebounds, and 11 assists as your player of the day. And here are today's nominees. You have Draymond Green in his triple-double of 10 points, 10 steals, 12 rebounds, and 5 blocks, and those astounding 4 points. Anthony Davis in his 42 points and 13 rebounds. Nikola Jokic in his 40 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists. Kawhi Leonard in his 32 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. You guys can go vote for the player of the day right now on the Amino Hardwood NBA app. The link to the poll will be in the description box below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like on it if you did, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already for more daily NBA videos. And until tomorrow, keep getting them bugs, Team SDC, and I'm out of here. Peace!